You forgot to open it.
Hey, Trisha. Hey, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hold on just a minute, y'all. Y'all know I'm always mom life. Now go on. Bye.
I'm gonna say cheese. Alright, I'm not gonna say cheese.
Y'all pray for me in these shares. Anyway, oh God. Welcome in, everyone. Make sure you guys press the like button as you come in. If you want to share me out, you can. As well, I come here, guys. We're going to talk about addiction, and I want to give you guys an update before I get started, because I've been holding on to this. A couple of months ago, I did a live on Prosper Ortega. Well, she, Ari and Prosper and Ari. Ari is the son, and he was taken away from his mother. Well, let me tell you this. She went to court today. Hey, Christine, how are you? And she went to court today, guys. And the Supreme Court ruled for her to get her child back because these people have taken her children. Well, it's supposed to end today, but it didn't. What ended up happening is, guys, the other party put another motion for the Supreme Court to look at the case some type of other way, and so pray that Prosper and Ari be reunited. No one's child should be taken from them just because she was basically in the hospital because of abuse. She was basically, she's going to get her baby back. The Supreme Court looked at it like they made her sign documents while she was inebriated, whatever you want to call it. Hey, Nancy, how are you? And she was heavily medicated. They made her sign some papers, and basically the papers was her signing her rights away. And she just had a bad predicament. If you guys knew, and you guys, because I want to get her story out. And if you want to talk about this story, guys, and if you are a content creator and you want to talk about this story, man, I really want her story to get out there just as well as Takia, guys. We still waiting on the judge to make a decision on Takia Beverly. It's still nothing. We still getting mute and silence. But I do want to share this link. Hold on, y'all. Let me get it. And I do want you guys to watch this video if you are new. And I want you guys to, if you want to give to Prosper and Ari and help her in any shape, form, or fashion, please do it. I'm just going to copy this. Please do it. She deserves to be back with her son. Right. Hey, Kendra girl, how you doing today? We're going to get into the conversation in just a minute. But guys, this is the Facebook page for Prosper and Ari. You go there, guys, watch the video, tell me what you think, and support her as much as possible. Please support her. She deserves to get her son back. This woman was raped by her husband. He put acid in her eyes. He had abused her. He tried to literally kill her. And she deserves to, and she got with people who she thought was her friends, and they took her child, and now they don't want to give them back. That's not fair. She wasn't an unfit mother. Don't believe that lie that she was an unfit mother, because she was not. She was just going through, and she thought she had some friends that was going to watch her child while she's had surgery, and these fools done took her baby. Yes, Christine left her for dead, but her mama, and I have personally talked to her mother. Yes, y'all know I get deep in some stuff. I'm too deep. I got 2 cases I'm real deep in. Y'all just don't know how deep I am in these situations. Like I'm talking to the people and they want to come on here to give you guys their truth. But the court system, and once I get this opportunity, child, I promise you guys, I'm gonna need me some mods. I got my mods, my A1s that's already green. My mods. That's who gonna hold it down because it's gonna get ugly with both. And I need my mods to hold it down. But anyway, I have talked to Prosper's mother, and she wants Prosper to come on here and tell her story, but we can't do it right now because she's still fighting. So continue to pray for her. Hopefully we can get her on here, guys. Let's pray for her to get her son back. I don't care about the exposure. As long as this girl get her child back, that's what matters to me. And the same thing for Takia Beverly. Once Takia is free, I feel okay. It bothers me when people are wrongfully convicted and people are wrongfully done, because our justice system is jacked up. Well, anyway, I'm done with talking about that. I am done talking about that on today. Okay, so, but we will revisit those two topics that I just discussed. They will be revisited. Trust me. We are in talks. It's just, like I said, to Kia Beverly, I stand with Kia. They are on a gag right now. They can't talk. And we're waiting on the judge's decision. And once that comes through, we can talk. Until then, nothing. Because the gag. Well, anyway, guys, as you guys know, on today, this morning I had posted in the community post that Keisha Cole's mother, Frankie, has passed away. At that time, it wasn't out. It was early in the morning, about 6, 7 o'clock. Found out that she had died. Her I think yesterday was her birthday, and she was turning up, I guess, and she died of a drug overdose. At the time, they didn't know what it was. They didn't put out there what it was, but I assumed that it was already because of she done had a drug overdose. And, she's been struggling with this addiction for quite some time, So, yes, rest in peace to Miss Frankie, guys. I hope you guys like the thumbnail I did, honey. I feel like it was just so beautiful. It just made her just light up. Let me tell y'all something. Addiction, if you think mental health is a fight, addiction is an even worse, is a fight for your life. It's a fight to beat this your body wants it, but you use this as a coping mechanism for the pain that you have. And it's a lot of people in this world, y'all, that are fighting addictions. It is. And it could be drugs, alcohol. I remember someone told me, now some people use weed as recreational use, and that's cool, you know what I'm saying? But some people use weed as a coping mechanism. And let me just say that I know a lot of people, like, someone told me that they need weed to be happy. Yes, sex too, Trisha. I missed that. Thank you. They said that they need, and you can be addicted to food too. And I can tell you the reason why. But someone told me they need weed to be happy, because if they don't have weed, they can't be at a place of happiness or at peace. Think about all these people that are how can I put it? Think about all these people that are addicted to cocaine and all the things that they have been through. It's been people out here that use the drugs as a way of numbing the pain that they have. Some people turn to drugs to deal with the death of a family member or their mother, or being raped or being abused or being, whew, Lord have mercy, miscarrying a child. And they don't know how to deal with it, so they turn to drugs. And they use it as a way of coping. So they don't have to think about it every time they go to sleep. Think about it. You have been dealing with something, and you went through something traumatic and you never dealt with it. It will carry. I understand that, Trisha. And you know what I'm saying? That does sound crazy, but they said that's the only way that they could be happy was to smoke some weed, and they can be at peace in life. Think about people using drugs and stuff like that just to have a peaceful mind, because they have so much. Oh, my mama wasn't in my life, and I watched my mama. My dad wasn't in my life. I watched my dad sell drugs. I watched my mama be abused and was on drugs and all this, and then now I'm on drugs. Do you think that doesn't it affects people, and it affects your children? Like I said, not only does the person deal with the addiction, but the family does too, and it affects your children just the same. Because you want your mama to get off if your mom is on or your family member on, you want them off of it. But how can they be off of it? They have to want to. And they have to understand whatever that traumatic event that happened in their life, drugs is not going to solve it. It's not going to stop it, because once you get through, even with alcohol, once you get through with that drunk, once you get through with that high, once you get through with that sex, or you get that orgasm, then you still stuck with the same feeling. And I understand, Trisha. And this is what some of our family, they get in denial when it comes to addiction. They don't believe, like some parents, they don't believe, oh, my child would never do any drugs. My child, true, Kendra, true. Some people do that. Some people have so much pain on the inside. Let me tell you something. Some people, they start off with marijuana to try to ease the pain, but marijuana just won't do it. So they need something even heavier, and that could be crack cocaine. And then after crack cocaine, it could be meth. It could be, hold on just a minute. Sorry, y'all. Lord, I heard a big bump and child thought they done put a hole in the wall. Oh, Jesus. Tell you, children and mom life. But anyway, yes, Kendra, they do use it to cover up the pain, because they feel as though no one would understand what they have been through. But what they, child, let me breathe. But they don't understand. It's a lot of people that they don't understand. A lot of people have went through the same situation. And Frankie could have been any of us. Any of us could have been Frankie. Any of us could be strung out right now, homeless, on crack, on meth, on ice, you know, on these heavy drugs trying to cope with something. But we made the decision, instead of using drugs and alcohol and things like that to cope with our pain, we use other things. We try to talk it out. Me, I'm one of those people. I do let things fester in my mind. I'm like fester. I go over it and over it and over it and over. Like, how could I allow this? How could I allow this? How could I allow this? How could I went through this? How could I let somebody hit me? How could I do this? And how could I do that? And how could I? And I just continue to go over it and 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 over it in my mind until it just until my mind, I just make a decision in my mind, man, it ain't nothing I can do about it. I got to move forward. And see, and I just learn how to push through the pain. And I thank God that y'all, I'm gonna get to your comment just a second, Trish. I'm gonna be honest, like, I think me going to therapy, the 2-3 months that I went through therapy, I got a lot out. Y'all don't understand. I held on to my first encounter with abuse for over 20 years. Hold on. I was 19. I'm 36. By almost 20 years of dealing with the embarrassment of abuse because I was so ashamed. And so I allowed other things to happen. Yes, it is embarrassment. Trisha said, people are sometimes embarrassed by the things that happen to them. That's why they talk about it. I guess they'd rather be a drug addict. True. I have people that I know that are on drugs and they have been abused and their husband left them and a child fend for themselves. And they have still to this day have hate in that heart for that person because of how they abused them and how they left them stranded. Hey, Miss Gloria, how are you? And you know, it makes you angry. It does. Right, Trisha? But some people, see, we have talked about this a lot. Here in the black community, in our black community, let me just keep it real. Y'all know we keep it real around here, so let's just keep it real. We don't like therapy because we think that that's something black people don't do. We just deal with it. You know what I'm saying? But it's nothing wrong with therapy. Y'all, when I talk, I am at a better place since I did therapy. I'm learning to let things go since I did therapy. I've learned to let those 18 years of that still stuck in my mind, that how could I allow this man to beat me he was winning for 18 years. In the back of my mind. Yes. In the back of my mind, he was winning for 18 years. But when I decided to have therapy, y'all, I felt so much better because I was able to release. I was able to love myself more. I was able to know that didn't have anything to do with me, but everything to do with him. So, in the black community, we do not believe in therapy. Let's just keep it real. We don't. We just gonna pray about it. We're going to pray about it. Oh, I did not raise a crackhead, so I'm just going to pray it out. Look, one thing about it, once your child turns 18 years old, let's just keep it real right now. Once your child turns into an adult, ain't no telling what the hell they going to do. Let me just keep it real. Let's keep it real. I'm gonna say, Trisha, I'm gonna get to that in just a second. Let's just keep it real. Yeah. You think, yeah, that's not the way I raised my child. Yes, that's not the way that you raise your child, but your child has allowed society, allow society to dictate how you're going to live, and they have let the things and the traumatic experiences in their life control them. That they have let the addiction control them. So no, you did not raise a crackhead, but that's what they are in your adult life. You have a crackhead in your family, and they're having a problem. Now, yes, you can pray for them and intercede in their behalf, but you cannot make them stop. They have to want it for themselves. You'd be surprised what your children don't. I'm the type of parent, I'm just gonna be like this. I ain't gonna be surprised when Jamel and Jayla get grown what they not gonna do. Because when you get grown, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. Because you're grown. And we do teach our children. Correct, Trisha. We do teach our children right from wrong. But if they make the decision to go out there in this world, hey, Miss Roxanne, how are you doing? If they make the decision to pick up a crack pipe and smoke out of it, that's not a reflection on you. That's not a reflection on you. In my opinion, we are over to have our own opinions. In my reflection, it does not have a reflection on the parent. It's not. My auntie is a survivor. This is my auntie, a family member, and she said, "I made the choice to stop." So it's a choice. Stop doing drugs and alcohol, and stop hanging with people that mean me no good. Hey, Shar, how are you? And God brought me through. But everyone is not the same, and you can't stop like that. But it is our choice. True. And Trisha, to answer your question, right? Hold on, let me go back up in the chat. Hold on, y'all. I done got mixed up in the chat. Let me go back up. Trisha said, "Why do people listen to therapists rather than listening to the people that they actually know?" Well, Trisha, the therapists, yes, they are a stranger, and your family member is not. Yes, true. But when it comes to family, some people may feel like their family is going to judge them. They're not going to help them. They're just going to go behind their back talking about, child, pick up the phone and say, child, what you call came to be talking about some child that she been smoking crack for a whole 10 years. And we just not finding out. Now she talking about she needs some help to go to rehab. Girl, I ain't got no money, Or, what I'm saying? They don't want to be prejudged because they feel like their family know them, but family sometimes judge you too. Your family sometimes can be your worst enemy. Let me go back down. They don't push therapy like they push sex and drugs. And they don't. Because we know why. It's a reflection on them. How though, Trisha? Tell me how it's a reflection on them when your adult child made the choice to go out there. You done did all you can. Like my mama, you've been raised up in the church. You raised up in the church, and you have been raised to do the right things. And you go out there in the world and you take the wrong direction. Is it a reflection on the parent? Right. Right. That's what I'm just yes, Miss Ross saying yes. Yeah, they don't know have no interest like your family. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if that's why a lot of people turn to addiction. And that's why they sometimes it's like they live with it for the rest of life. Oh, okay, Trisha. Look, girl, it's a lot going. Uh, okay, I get what you're saying now. Okay, so yeah, like therapy do helps. It does. I am at first I wasn't a believer of it, but since I've been through it, I can actually say therapy do help. And it does help you with those things that were traumatic in your life that you need to work through. Do you know how many people done left this earth, y'all, that haven't dealt, like Iana say, ain't did the work? That means they didn't do the work in um working through the pain. Y'all remember Netra, whatever her Keisha Cole sister did, she was on Iana. She was on Iana. And she still was it seemed like she had traumatic experiences in her life. And it's you know what I'm saying? And it all comes back from the mama. Hey Q, how are you today? So when it comes to addiction, y'all, we have to stop dehumanizing people and make them human. And that means love them. Love them. Don't judge them because you don't know what made them turn to drugs. And you may be the light that is shining to help them pull through. You just have to right, right, and that's true. That's true. A good therapist, yes. My therapist, she was like, she wanted me to do an exercise, right? And she was making like she told me to like make a pyramid or a bowl or something, like put the things that are not important in my life to the side and put those things that are important in my life, put them in the bowls and organize them. And she's told me to just, you know, it's so much and I miss it, and I'm gonna have to go back, just not because I'm going through something, because I really want to get in a good space, just for me, you know. So they fight, y'all. If y'all hear anything in the background, y'all know the kids fight. Um, but even though many people won't admit it, is everyone in everyone has someone in their family that is dealing with addiction. It may be to pills, yeah. It may be it don't have to be a heavy drug, but they're dealing with some type of addiction and they need a breakthrough. True, true. And see, like some people they try to force. This is what you don't do. You don't force someone to sobriety. You don't force it. It's like some people, you're going to rehab and you're going to rehab now. They're just gonna throw them in rehab for them to come out, be sober for a little while to do it all back over again. That ain't gonna work for nobody. You're wasting your money. But what I can say is they're gonna have to be tired and they're gonna have to talk. And that means they're gonna have to talk about that traumatic experience or that traumatic event that caused them to want to go to the drugs. You know, people can be addicted to food, right? Say, for instance, because I remember seeing this on 600-Pound Life or something. Hold on, somebody crying. Allow me one moment. But anyway, like I've listened to 600-Pound Life, and this lady, she said that the reason why she became the size that she had became was because she was raped. I remember reading this, and and she said the reason why she decided to go to food was because if she be as big as a house child, then someone wouldn't touch her inappropriately. She never told no one that she was raped, but she thought that, no one would want her being. Look, Tony, this is you don't even know. Put this down. Oh, you don't even know Miss Ross saying, like, she about to go now. But like, and I was like, man, like, do you know how sad that is? It made me want to cry because someone touched you inappropriately, and you became so big and and morbidly obese because someone raped you and they were sick in the mind. And so what they did was, so you decided to blow yourself up to like 800 pounds or more just so you can be untouchable. No one will want you. And that is, to me, that's like, wow. Though I say we don't know what people go through in life and makes them turn to the things that they turn to cope with whatever that happened in their life. And if they don't seek that help, they will forever, like Frankie, forever. Like I said earlier, we all could be a Frankie. Any of us could all be on heavy drugs and addicted to pills, addicted to crack. We all could be that. But we choose to deal with whatever traumatic experiences that came in our life. So my question is to you guys is, how do we? Okay, so my Aunt Nancy said everyone is not strong enough to get off drugs like I did. It's not easy, but it can be done if you want something better than that. True. You gotta want. Though I said you have to want it. They have to want it for themselves. They have to want it for themselves. And many people can be a Frankie. Y'all excuse me. My child. Anyway, but I truly want to say this. What can we do as the true Miss Roxanne? That's true. There is always an underlying issue. That's why I said, look, you about to get put out. Hey, Jazz Vibes, how are you? But yes, and if they don't talk about it, Miss Roxanne, how can they ever be helped? They're gonna end up killing themselves because of the fact that they want to numb the pain. That's as simple as that. They want to numb the pain. Yes, Trisha, you have to get rid of the hurt. But how do you get rid? Let's be real, y'all. Let's put it in the chat. How do you get? How do you get rid of the hurt? When let's look the ones that have been through something right now, guys, that has been through traumatic experiences and stuff like that. Put in the chat, like, what made you like, how did you heal? How did you get rid of your hurt? How did you deal with your pain? How did you become able to like cope with it and not turn to drugs or turn to alcohol or turn to, you know, you didn't let it consume you. Um, that was going to be my question. Like, how do we help the one that wants to win the fight with addiction but can't stop? How can you help someone that wants to stop fight, wants to end the fight? They want to stop the abuse, the drug abuse that they want to stop their addiction, and they want to overcome. How? How? Yes, you talk to people about it. But what if what if that person feels as though you don't understand my pain? You don't understand how that made me feel when that man climbed on top of me and raped me. You don't understand how that felt when I delivered a stillborn baby when I really wanted that baby. Do you know how many mothers has turned to heavy drugs because of a child that they wanted um was stillborn and they wanted that baby? They got into such a deep depression they started turning to pills and drugs. It's a lot of women in this world, guys. That was the number one cause of them going to drugs because they had lost a baby. And in order to cope with the pain of having a miscarriage and pushing out a baby and it died, and now you don't have that baby anymore, and you didn't have that support you needed to help you heal from losing that baby, so you turn to drugs. So Christine said, I must admit, there were some dark times where alcohol was my best friend, but I finally hit a low and had to get help. They have to want to stop and then start with therapy, drug rehab, God, and time. Yes. Trisha said there's a difference between someone telling you something only because they need to get it off their chest and someone who wants your input. True, true, and that's true. That's so true. If that's why I say sometimes you could be like you could. I remember this. I remember saying this. We are always one. Anybody could be one bad decision away from changing their whole entire life, and that means good or bad. I'm sorry, bad. We are one bad decision away for changing our life. We are. Q said, when people have addictions, I think the ultimate thing is they stop when they want that for themselves. Right. You can want it for them all day long. You can want it all day long. And you know what I'm saying? Most of the people that this what I understand, this is what makes me know that I say humanize them, because the addict is still a person and they still have feelings, they still have they still have personality. And like with Frankie, everybody was saying basically Frankie was the life of the party. She was a good person. She was like funny and everything, but she just couldn't kick the addiction. She could not kick the addiction. People have so much great things to say about you, but you couldn't put the addiction. You couldn't leave that. And that was caused your demise. And I hope that one day, you know, it's just I hope one day if you got a family member that's going through that, pray for your family member and intercede in their behalf and ask God to deliver them and ask God to help them to want to be delivered from the addiction. You can always pray and ask and intercede on someone else's behalf. Because let me tell you something, you know, I say, yeah, I talk about a lot of things on here, but one thing for sure, I know for sure, God can deliver people from many of different things, and He definitely can deliver people from addiction, and help, and but they have to want it. True. Jazz Vibe said, I agree with what I'm saying, crying out to God for help and not giving up. Yes, Trish, faith is key. Faith without work is dead. So you have to have the faith that you can do with the addiction, that you can get over this addiction, that you can overcome it, and it will not take over your life. That's what you say. I am not going to allow drugs and alcoholism and pills take over my life. I'm a survivor. I'm going to beat this. And it all starts with me. Yes. Yes. It's many of us walking this earth that doesn't love ourselves. I was one of those people, but I didn't turn to alcohol. I might have turned a little bit to food, but I didn't turn to alcohol. I didn't turn to drugs. I turned to food. But yeah, I was one of those people that didn't love themselves. I was. And I can truly say I can stand in my truth and say that. But today, I love myself. And it is what it is. And the people that's gonna be that's for me is for me. Oh, for real, cute child, honey. I turned the food too much, but hey, it's all right. But I can truly say that with therapy and all that, man, I'm beyond that. I'm beyond. I'm I care less. Let me say this: I care less what people think of who I am, because I got to know who I am, and I've learned that if your character speak for itself, then guess what? You ain't got nothing else to say. You have nothing else to prove, and that's what matters to me: character, integrity, and just being whoever God wants you to be. I'm learning that sometimes you have to sit back and you have to pray and you have to ask God to fight some of these battles that you go through in life, especially addiction. You have to fight some battles. Though that's a hard battle, because some habits are so hard to quit. Right. So if you say so, what Aunt Nancy is saying, this is my auntie, so y'all can call her Aunt Nancy if she let you. But I call her Aunt Nancy. Aunt Nancy is saying is, if you want to change the addiction, you have to stop hanging around the people Yes, you have this heart. Stop hanging around the people that are presenting you the drugs. And you have to stop hanging around out in the streets and stuff like that. And find, if that means find you a new crowd, that means find those people that's showing you something different than drugs. Yeah, showing you something absolutely different. Yes. And then just giving everything else to God, and everything will work out for you. You can't say you want to stop smoking. You want to stop smoking crack, and Trisha, like me, I used to smoke cigarettes, and honey, I quit cold turkey. But see, I was just smoking to be smoking, and only time I really chain smoke was when I was drinking or when I was stressed out. But other than that, I didn't need it. Then my aunt Nancy, she was telling me, Monica, your dad, my dad used to smoke cartons of cigarettes a day. My dad did. And my dad died of lung cancer. And my dad did quit. He quit like 5-6 years before he died of lung cancer. My dad he loved them cools, child. Nah, I used to smoke me a nudie. Didn't mean a Newport. But my dad loved them cools. He used to smoke a carton of cools a month. He used to, a week, not even a week, a day. And he used to have them all under his seat and everything. And he lost, he had lung cancer. And when he found out, he was stage 4. And, he died in 6 months. That was, I know y'all hear the story often, but that was the hardest thing to ever go through as a only child. I was my dad's only child. So, yeah, my dad loved them cools, child. That's my dad. They said my dad had an old green Lincoln, money green Lincoln. They said he used to have his feet hanging out the car, smoking a cigarette, seat laid back, ride. I was like, Lord. Yeah, same here. Yes, I need to also. Well, you know what I'm saying? Everybody just, if you want to stop, you just take the initiative to just take each day to try to smoke less and less. Look, my dad did smoke them cool, son, and had a carton. I like everybody else was smoking Newports, but my daddy was smoking them cools, child. I don't know. Nancy said, don't ask God to take the taste out your mouth because he didn't put it there. True. That's a choice. But I do have those days where it's just party time and I pay for it the next day. Yeah. Same here. Same here. Like, like me, like the other day, like I like to drink some wine. Usually when I drink wine, but I needed that wine Friday, y'all. I did. I really did need that wine because I don't really need it, but I felt like I need it. Let me just say that. But I'm not addicted to drinking alcohol all the time. I'm not. Because, honey, some people wake up drinking and go to sleep drinking. I can't do it. I can't drink every day now. I can't function. That's what I'm saying. How do some people function drinking from the time they wake up to the time they go to bed? You ain't got time to sober up or nothing. Just going to work smelling like a whole liquor bottle. Oh, Lord. Yes. I swear to God, like, whew. Like especially when you're working in a factory, that's all you smell was cool was if someone you could tell somebody don't do nothing but drink because all you do is smell the alcohol on them from their sweat. When you know it's all in your pores, when you know the alcohol is coming out your pores, you know you're an alcoholic. Let me just say that. Yeah, they get. Yeah, I know they get used to it, but honey, I couldn't get used to this waking up drunk, going to bed drunk. That means you're never able to function. And then when you're sober, you like, you know what I'm saying? Like usually, people that drunk, they always the life of the party. They, drinking. But um, when they are not on the alcohol, they're like this. They don't have much to say. They feel like they're missing something. I ain't talking about somebody that have a drink or two, a beer or something every day. I'm talking about somebody that gets stone cold drunk every day off liquor. And I understand that ain't this. Like just like you have functional every other kind of person alcohol. True. Well, honey, good for them. Cause honey, I couldn't. I know me. I know I could not function drunk. I'd be laughing and all that. Yeah, you are, Christine. You are definitely that, honey. Yeah, child. Come look, come to my family party, child. Child, I'm from deep down in the country. I'm from deep down in the country. And honey, sometimes our family can, child, we can act a fool. Yeah, I'm usually like that too. That's why you just see me drink wine. Wine don't do me bad like liquor and stuff like that. I haven't drunk liquor in. I did have a margarita one day, but I don't. I'm not no. I'm not gonna have a liquor bar in the back of my pocket where I can pull it out and just be drinking out for it. Mm-mm. No, no. But what time is it? It's 9:52. So as I was stating, guys, yeah, that's why I said like I I'm already halfway crazy. So it's best not for me to be drinking and drunk and acting a fool because I'm already crazy. I am. I am. And I know sometimes I can say some mean things. Child, I still, well, I got a half a bottle of Salt of the Earth. If you guys have not tried Salt of the Earth, it's a nice wine to try out. And I still got them strawberry popsicles. I drink them when I just want to cool out. and but other than that, usually I'm drinking tea and water. That's it. You a tequila woman? Child, I remember one time somebody, ooh, have you ever drunk the worm? Did you ever drink the worm, Christine? Cause child, mm-mm. I don't, I don't drink liquor, honey. I used to, baby. I used to. But now since I'm a mom and I gotta watch two bad children, no.
Mama Jamaica.
Hold on a minute.
I heard.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Can you whoop him, please?
Oh, my bad. Go to bed. Jamel cussed, supposedly. Gone.
Bring it orange.
No, you can't.
Why? Why can't you go orange?
I did too. I do confuse the two. I do confuse the two. But y'all, if you know anyone that's dealing with addiction and they needing some help and they ready to move forward, man, please get them some help. And before I go, I'm open to someone coming on here for a little while. And if you have a story you want to give, if you have dealt with addiction and you want to talk about how you overcame, I'm gonna drop this link in the chat. If you want to come on here and give your opinion about what I talk to, the chat is open. I'm always, you know what I'm saying? We always can have a different opinion and I respect it. That's just who I am and that's what I am. So if there is the link, if you want to come on here and say anything, um, child, I can drink about 3 shots and be all right. Yeah, me too, Treasure. 3 shots. That's it. And I'm gonna have something behind them 3 shots. Mm-mm. I'm. Ooh, something that be going down. Give your chest a burn, child. No, I'm not one of those people that I'm not like anybody that ever hangs out with me, and any of my friends or family can tell you they ain't gonna call me Monger and say peaches. Peaches and alcohol do not mix. Peaches get drunk maybe out for one drink. Yes, that's why you see me drink wine because I can't really drink. Hey chef, how are you? Yeah, I bet you was. Hold on just a minute. Hey Christine, what you got to say, honey?
Hello, everybody. Hi, Monica. I
Hey
would say
Christine.
hi, Miss Jayla, but I don't know where she at. But you know,
Child
mhm.
snitching. Dry snitching. No,
Hey. That's. Wait, like I said, wait till I
I'm
teach
over.
him the darling thing. Then you're not even gonna know what to do with her little butt. Mm-mm.
Go ahead and tell me what you got to say.
Far as the liquor is concerned, um, yeah, I used to work in a liquor store,
Uh,
so that's how I know so much about tequila. And
mhm.
your girl, like you know, I'm bad with tequila because I drink 3 Mexicans under the table, and they get down on their tequila. Like
No,
they,
child, I'm good on that. I don't drink with Mexicans. I just drink at
I don't,
home and look
I don't even know
crazy.
how that. I don't even know how that happened. To be honest with you, I don't
But to
even know.
be honest, I just like a good margarita. If I can get a margarita, I'm good. That's all I need is a margarita.
And see, with a margarita, the best tequila to go in a margarita is called Cabo Wabo. See, look, I
Never heard.
already know about these things, but yeah, it's a little expensive. But Sammy Hagar owns that one, but he
Uh,
made it is it's formulated to be perfect in margaritas to give you that same quality, but you can't overdo it. You got to put the right amount of tequila in there. Mm.
look, child, because like sometimes when I drink the margaritas, they be having one of my arm hurting. I'm like, man, am I having a stroke?
What kind of tequila are you using?
Oh no, it's from the casa up here. I get a margarita on the rocks, and you know what I'm saying I don't drink like every day, and like I
Uh-huh.
said, alcohol like it was just 1 cup, and I'm about halfway tipsy. I don't get it. Like I'm like, what's wrong with me?
Oh, see, sometimes it's the tequila they give you too. Because if you drink it like a cheap tequila that hasn't been distilled correctly, yeah,
Mhm.
that'll mess your whole world up. And that's
Child,
for some.
all I know is my arm would hurt. My arm would hurt real bad. I said, man, I shouldn't have drunk that because I said, man, this is a stroke.
She said this is I, not to be laughing at it, but it is funny because I think liquor is a blood thinner. I think.
Oh well, child, my arm would hurt, and that's why I don't drink nothing but wine now because I know how liquor be having my arm hurting, and I be like something wrong. That's why you don't see me drink like heavy alcohol. I might drink some wine.
And see, some people have like an allergic reaction to liquors
Hey, the
too.
McCray Kings.
Hi, McCray Kings. But some people have allergic reaction to liquor too, and that might be a problem. That could
Child.
be a problem. But yeah, as far as me and the whole drinking thing, um, I just hit mine was to cover some stuff that I was going through. So instead of dealing with it, and this is during college years too. So you know already, I'm already partying. So I had a death of a friend. So I
Uh,
just kept partying until I could not party no more. And you know it's bad when you're supposed to be taking an account. And I will never forget this. I'm taking an accounting test, like in a very
uh,
important accounting test. And literally was crying and could not stop crying. I only put
Let
my
me tell
name on
you.
the
Let
test.
me tell you. Okay. So I was at a house party with my homegirl, her and her girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, it was packed full of folks. Get what I started doing. Don't judge me. Y'all do not judge me in the chat.
I'm judging.
Look, Christine, all of a sudden, and she was like, "That's my sister," and she always called me her sister.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "That's my sister," and I love it. Child, I'm up here crying. These folks look at me like, "What the hell?"
That's me. That's why I don't drink rum. That's
What
why
the hell
exactly
wrong
I
with
don't
her?
drink rum. I cannot drink rum because I drink rum. I drink anything with rum in it. You will see me sitting there. I'll be fine. Next thing you know, I'm just crying for no reason. I see a commercial with a puppy or something. It don't even matter. I'm sitting at the bar. Next thing you know, I'm crying about nothing. Just crying, just to be crying. So I
Look,
don't know.
I tell
That's
people,
my
she was like,
reaction.
then the girl beside me, look, she looked at me. She was smoking some weed. She gave me. She said, "Here, baby." She gave me the weed.
To counteract that, because you
Look,
counteract that.
I got alright. I got alright.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't see certain liquors have that effect. Well, only one I found is rum.
Yes,
That's the
I am
only
a
one.
whole different kind of weird, honey.
No, that's not weird because some people just like that. They just have
That's why I don't
reaction.
drink number wine because I know what alcohol do to me. I get to thinking, get in my feelings, and then next thing you know, I might see something like, yeah, you right. See something on a commercial, start crying. I might have a conversation with somebody, start crying. I am not. I don't need alcohol. Just pray for me.
Mm. That's me and Jack Daniels. I shouldn't have been. Jack Daniels and I like to fight. So,
So I used to drink Burnett's, um, that Crown and Apple and stuff like that.
mm.
Um, Trisha
I,
said I've been around people like that, and I always said, "Girl, I see tomorrow." That's the best thing to do for people like us, Trisha.
I just don't drink rum. Now that I have figured out it's rum that made me cry,
I'm like, "There you go." Okay.
and Jack be making me want to fight, I don't drink Jack. I'm surprised I drink Jack all up on the plane though, because I'm surprised I didn't get kicked off the plane. Because usually I was fighting, but I guess the guy that I was sitting next to, me and him were cool. Because me and him we just got toe up on the plane, just toe up. That
Child.
was not necessary, but it was necessary because me and him were having drinking games. So
Jeff said, "Am I the only one who drinks eggnog year round?" I don't drink eggnog. Never really tried it. I had tried
wait,
a shot of it, but I don't know.
who said they drank eggnog?
Chef alleged. Look, allegedly.
Chef, do you drink eggnog with the brandy in it or the whiskey?
I don't know. My friend gave it to me from the liquor store. She had bought something from the liquor store.
I know, that's
She
what I'm
gave me a
talking
shot of it.
about. They got the Pennsylvania Dutch, and then they got the other one. Yeah, they have the liquor in it. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I got some out in my garage. Mm-hmm.
I just go to, like
I ain't
I just
gonna drink it though. Mm-mm. I'm pretty sure it's bad, and I don't want to mess with that stuff because it don't even look right no more. So I ain't gonna mess with it. But I also got some rum out there, and I got a lot of rum out in my garage. I don't mess with rum like that. That's out in the garage because somebody wants some rum, hit me up, and I'll give you the rum because I don't need to be drinking that because that ain't gonna have me out in these streets crying. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Chef over here talking about he drink eggnog all year round. That sound like Jamel.
hold on, man. I got a whole fight going on.
They in there brawling. Who do y'all think is winning? I think it's Jayla. I think Jayla be out there winning. Who drinks eggnog? I fell asleep when I. You fall, Trisha. You fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he uses vodka,
Eggnog and
eggnog,
Bloody
and Bloody
Mary.
Mary. I have
I
never had
never
a
had a
Bloody
Bloody
Mary.
Mary.
I've never had one. I be wanting a Bloody Mary, and I ain't never had one because I don't know anybody. Like, that's one drink you gotta have somebody know what they doing, and I'm just one of
Mhm.
those people that I, you gotta know how a Bloody Mary should taste, and when you give it to me, that's how it should be good. And you shouldn't be using cheap liquor. Yeah, those are my. Why is he
Okay,
texting me?
so let's give me your opinion about addiction. Let's we're gonna,
Um,
okay.
my opinion about addictions a lot of times, one of the things I think could have happened, and not knowing the whole situation with Miss Frankie, is
Mhm.
that sometimes what happens to I've noticed is that people will get clean sometimes, and then something will trigger them, and then they'll go back and use.
Hey Q.
And
Hey,
thank
Monica.
you.
All right.
And they'll go back and they'll trigger them, and they'll go back to using the same amount they were using when they stopped, and they can't do that because that just sends their body into shock. But I
What you
think when
mean?
people are using, a lot of times it's because they're trying to mask some pain or trauma that they just either don't want to deal with or don't know how to deal with and
Yeah.
can't come to terms with it. And a lot of people have a lot of things. But anyways, that's my opinion.
Hey King Chris World, thank you for coming. So Q, what you came up here to say?
Well, how y'all doing tonight? Good to talk to y'all tonight. Sorry, my voice is a little husky. I'm still trying to get it back.
You
But
already have. Come on.
I
What's
was
on
just
your heart?
coming to say, um, like I wanted to have a discussion about addiction and death. Like I didn't catch everything from the beginning. I'm gonna have to watch the replay,
Mhm,
so I don't know what y'all already talked about. But I do think one of the scariest things dealing with people who have addictions
mhm,
and when they die is like you were saying something earlier, like when people have addictions, you still have to love on them. They're still human and things of that
mhm.
nature. A lot of times when people do have addictions and they die and you hear that they're dead, the first thought that comes to our head is that they died of an overdose. So not speaking about Frankie's situation, but just in
Uh-huh.
general. And sometimes that's not the case. And then what my fear becomes is that these people who we know that have addictions and things of that nature don't get a chance at having a fair resolution to what caused their death. The police doesn't investigate it as thoroughly. People don't look into situations that may have happened thoroughly because they automatically assume it has something to do with drugs. Drugs was involved, and they led to their own demise or whatever. And that's what I wanted to talk about too. Did y'all already touch on that?
Not
No,
really.
we did not.
No. Go
Okay.
ahead, Q, because
I understand mom life. But yeah, I was just thinking about that because I know there's been, just in my area alone, recently there has been a lot of people dying from overdose. It seems like we're hearing about it more and more and more. I know that it's been happening, but it's just happening, back to back to back. And sometimes I do think that, some people know they can get away with things because of who the person may be or the addictions they have and stuff like that. And I just, I wish people would place more value on people's lives, whether they're addicted to a drug or not, because, a person doesn't have to be addicted to a narcotic to be addicted to something.
right,
And you love on people who don't do drugs that have other addictions. So I don't understand the difference. I know it can be tough to see people go through a struggle and something like that, but I'd rather for a person to feel loved in the struggle than to feel alone.
That is true.
right, and that's why I say you have to humanize them. They still deserve love.
Hmm.
They still deserve to be prayed for. Like I said, intercede. That means, you know, like pray for them and pray that God can deliver them from their addiction and them wanting to be rid of this. But it's
Right.
gonna be a fight for their life.
Right, right. And I know some people, when you show them an example of how life is without that and how they can cope, just sometimes seeing that example can lead them more and more to at least have the want to be able to stop. Sometimes if people are only surrounded by people that do the same things they do, they're not going to be motivated to do anything else but what they do. So if you leave them to the crowd of people who are doing things that you want them to stop, then you're really not showing them many more options. You're kind of like giving
Right.
up on them, I think.
Right, because my aunt, she put in the chat that she was addicted to drugs, Aunt
Mhm.
Nancy, and
Mhm.
she was saying that she made the decision to remove herself from those people that did mean
Mhm.
no good, and she
Mhm.
started focusing more on God and walking away from that, and she finally beat it.
Right.
And then what ended up happening is she said it is hard, and you're gonna have to do because you do you see you think that that's what they're doing is like, man, I'm missing out on the fun, but you're killing yourself too.
Mhm. Yeah, but that was my little 2 cents I had thought about down here in the chat. I had thought about it earlier today when I first heard of the story, and then just
Mhm.
because of recent events that's been happening in my area alone.
What
It's
happened?
just, well, just a lot of people, dying from overdose, like in the local cities near me, Petersburg, Virginia. You have a lot of people who are dying in hotels and rooms, and different. You don't hear about it on the news as much as you
Mhm.
think you would because they cover a lot of stuff. Just like people get killed in Petersburg, Virginia every day. Somebody's getting shot. Somebody's doing something. Um, and I know they had a drug bust around here recently where somebody was caught with a bunch of marijuana, and the marijuana was laced with fentanyl. And my first thought was, a lot of these people around here are dying from overdose of fentanyl. And I think it was the heroin or something at first, but now it's getting into marijuana. But I truly, because I'm a little conspiracy theorist, I got that little piece of me inside of me, Monica.
Yeah, I know
That
you
hat, right? That other hat. I wear
know
so
you do.
many. But truly, for real, what I think is because, we're now, Virginia is legalized marijuana. That started on July 1st, right?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, the government has to come up with a way to be able to control this. They don't want you buying from your local corner dealer anymore because they need you to buy from the dispensaries where they can add on the taxes or get the government funds from. So, they're going to fill the streets up with stuff that you don't trust buying anymore. And to
Hmm.
me, that seemed like a good old way to get it in the streets, some marijuana with fentanyl. So, everybody who out here buying marijuana gonna feel like, oh, I can't get it off the street no more. I need to get it from the dispensary because
Hmm.
that's going to be a little bit safer. But that's just my thoughts. I don't know anything to be fact. That's just all my little story I worked up in my head.
Okay, well, is it in it? Y'all having an opioids crisis?
I don't even know what all the opioids are, Monica. Like, I don't know. That's what is opioids, like meth
Like
and stuff.
pills and all that? Like it's
Well, I
something
know
like
Like
there's a
opioids,
yeah, there's a definitely
opioids.
an opioid crisis, I guess you could say, because that I would say that probably was going on from maybe when I was still in the clubs because you would see people nodding off and stuff like that. But I don't know, some people would say people are on heroin. You might have people
That's
on
a good example of an
pills.
opioid. That's a good example of opioid right there. It's heroin,
oh,
and
it's
then
what
like
it
Oh,
is.
okay.
What it is that they're
oxycodone
saying
is
now
another
that
one.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a younger generation that are now more, and like when I was growing up, heroin was the worst. Well, to me, it's still like the worst drug that I've ever
honey,
heard of.
when I was growing up with crack, baby, crack.
Yeah, well, I know they used to well, like crack was bad, but heroin was that thing where they say you tried it one time and you were done. That's what I always heard about heroin was you one try and it was a wrap for you. You were addicted forever. So I don't know how true it is because I've never tried it. My tolerance has always had a limit to just marijuana. I didn't want to try anything else beyond that. I don't know why, but thank God I didn't. And that's that. But I do know that when I was growing up, heroin was the worst, and then it was crack. You didn't want to be a crackhead. You didn't really want your family members to be crackheads, things of that nature. But now, like I could say after graduating from high school, I started seeing, well, maybe like in my early 30s, I started seeing people that I had went to school with that had turned into full-fledged, what we would say, crackheads. And then it became where you would go to the clubs and you would see the guys younger than you that had started doing heroin and dope or whatever they call it. And I don't know if it was because of stuff in the songs or what it was, but a lot of drugs are becoming really popular that I think like nobody has any fear anymore. Like y'all not scared to
Mm.
take this stuff and people out here letting you know that it's everything, but addiction is powerful. Addiction is way more powerful than fear.
Because they said with I I guess I'm going by the TV how they looking at documentaries and stuff like they
Hmm.
said that like the heroin just gives you a sense of like they said it's a different kind of
And
feeling.
they say you on a train. Ain't that what they say? You
Yeah.
riding a train or something? I don't
Mhm.
know.
And you just just it but crack get you paranoid and all that, but they said it gets you as well. I don't know, but like
Yeah,
when you mix
because
it,
for each drug, you have different people gonna respond differently. You have people
yeah.
who smoke crack who are in the hospitals performing surgery on people. And I know for a fact in my area growing up in school, we had people who were on crack who were legit crackheads that taught school.
Wow.
So you have people who can take these drugs and be very, very functional in society and you not even know it. So it goes in all forms. You do have the crackheads who are on the corner who strung out and they taking all their mama stuff, but then you have the very high functioning ones too who making the six-figure salaries and hiding in the corner, and the only way you see it is when you go to the emergency room and you look at your doctor fingertips and you wonder why all their skin gone and all that stuff. It's because they've been holding on to some hot pipes.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Well, highly favored. Um, that's a blessing for you to. She said that she was addicted to crack and she's been 7 years clean.
Hmm.
Congratulations on your sobriety.
Yes,
You
congratulations,
know,
because it's a hard habit to kick. I have family members
mhm.
who,
Me too.
when I was growing up and I was a little girl,
Yeah.
they were strung out.
I
And thank
have
God,
family members like
that times changed and they were able to stop. And, I was just telling one of my cousins today because his mom just actually took out a loan to buy him a house. And I said, you deserve it. I said, you went through a lot when you were younger because his mom was strung out on drugs. I said, you deserve it. This is the time for her to be able to do what she, should have done then. But thank God she's in a position to do it now and she's here. So, but yeah.
though I say not only does addiction affects you, it affects your people that are around
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
you.
because it definitely affected their children. It affected, just seeing that in the family. It affects the siblings that person has. It affects their
Mhm.
parents for always worrying about them in the streets. And,
Mhm.
it affects people and how they trust them around their items and everything. It definitely does play all types of parts in the family.
I understand. Highly favored. Never be upset with yourself for, um, because you knew better, but it was just something that you went through. Just I'm gonna drop the link, and you can come up here. Just follow the path. Put your email in. It'll send you a code, and you can
Yeah.
come up here and tell your story. But never be ashamed of
Yeah, because
your
that's a great testimony. You
Yeah, and I
give
want
people
and we're
hope.
gonna hear it. If you don't mind telling it, there is the link. I think you just put your email in, and it'll let you in, and I'll let you in. And I want to hear
Yeah.
your story, but never be ashamed. Like I said, we all have hills and valleys to climb. Ain't nobody
Hmm.
perfect on this. I don't care how much you try to portray you perfect on YouTube, but you ain't.
Right.
I
Right.
know. I
And that's what I was talking about yesterday. I was like, yeah, I say I thank God for the way I was raised. I thank God for my family, all that stuff. It don't mean I didn't go through struggles.
Right.
It doesn't mean I was raised in a two-parent family and I had college paid for and I grew up with a white picket fence. It just means that I know what love is. And love is, sometimes found outside of the perfect stone, the perfectness. It's definitely found outside the perfectness.
Right. And
and
that's what.
you know how to recover. Like when you
Right.
knock down, you know how to get up and recover and keep it pushing. And sometimes that's like a life lesson that somebody like me has had to learn. Like
Yeah.
you hit a wall and you're like, dang, you don't even know what to do. And then you just find yourself in situations you're like, okay, and all like you said earlier, Monica, a lot of us were one bad decision away from being somebody else. And I used to work with young girls that were in a halfway house, I guess you'd call it, where they were
Mhm.
trying to retain custody of their kids, but they had drug addiction or alcohol addiction, and it was a way for them to retain or keep custody of their children, may it be the state that put them there or their family. And so they were learning how to deal with being a mom, being a new mom, and being sober at the same time. And I used to tell these girls that, you know what, the difference between me and you is that I just made one decision different than you made a decision, because I could easily be here. I could
Right.
easily be on the other side of this and be you. So I just made a different decision when it came down to it. That's all it was. It was just, that's all it was.
All right. Well, y'all, welcome in, highly favored. Thank you for coming up. We do want to hear your story, and we do, if you want to take your time with it, because I know, it's a testimony, and if you ever feel like you need a minute, you can take it to gather yourself or whatever. But welcome in, and we appreciate you for coming on here, giving your story, because addiction is something that does need to be talked about. And I want to hear your story if you don't mind telling me. And I'm going to give you this opportunity. So welcome in.
Wow, well, thank you so much for allowing me to be up on the stage and
Mhm.
tell my story.
Yes, ma'am.
I never have been up on a stage before, so I'm glad I was
Just
able
take
to
your
follow
time.
the
You don't have
prompts
to
and get
feel,
through.
there's no judgment here at all. It's all love. If
Well,
they, if it's your first
with
time
that
here,
being said, I'm gonna tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
okay, well, we're here to hear your story. No one's here on Monica News and Views. We don't judge. We show love, and I have never tried to judge nobody. So if it's something that you want to tell the truth, because you don't know, you might impact someone else that is listening that could be struggling with addiction. They just ain't saying that.
Hmm. Well, it's true that nobody is a child and grows up and says that they want to be a drug addict, when they grow up. Because if you guys can remember, your youth, like say when you were 7, 8, 9 years old, right? It's like the whole world. Well, no, the world was a magical place. At least it was for me. Everything was brand new. And I was happy. And I'm trying to say that, I was pure. We are, as children, we are pure. And it was a good feeling. So my parents were addicted to a lot of drugs. But besides that, um, I was very well taken care of. Like my dad was the breadwinner, and he
Hmm.
always had very good jobs. My mom stayed at home. When I say a good job, like the house that they bought, or my father bought, I think he was 25 years old. And that's kind of unusual for Black people today, but he was 25 years old. And the home that he bought on the mountainside, you hear me? That
Yes, ma'am.
house now, that house now, that house in that neighborhood are going for $1 million and over. So when you think of it, it's like when he bought the home, I think it was like $20,000 or something like that. Um, in his age, for that time, it was considered $1 million home. You guys, you kind of equating where I'm coming from.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
like today where a Black man would buy $1 million home. Well, back then for his time and the price
Hmm.
of that home at that time, it was in the realm. It was like it was $1 million home. So I was very proud of my father, um, after I grew up and actually was able to put two and two on what he was able to do. And he bought that home in 1971.
Okay.
So that was okay. So that was right in after the 60s civil rights movement had started. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, people like that being assassinated, but this black man was still able to buy $1 million home, so to speak. So I grew up in a diversified neighborhood. Obviously, white people on both sides of the home, but there were black people that lived in that neighborhood too. But they were like scientists, artists, um, musicians. That kind of caliber. But as a kid, I didn't think anything of it because all I did was went to school and went outside to play. That was the era when, you let your kids play outside and then they came home when the street lights came on. And that's how my day went every single day.
Yeah.
School, homework, and then played outside, ate dinner at 6 and went to bed at 8. But here's the
Hmm.
flip side. So, um, my mom, I was born in 1963. I'm 58. My mom had me when she was 18, and she was an alcoholic when she was 18. Um, and then she used pills, like Red Devils and stuff like that. So, when you guys hear of uh, people, millennials or whatever, using pills today, that's the way it was back then too. Um, and they smoked marijuana, and um, they grew marijuana in their backyard. And these were some huge plants, like they were like 6 feet tall, and there's probably about maybe 10 of them. And my mom would ask us, because it was me and my sister. She's 4 years younger than me, and she would ask us to go and water the plants. And again, they were just, I mean, I knew what they were, maybe 9 or 10, 11. I knew it was marijuana, but again, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, so what? They're marijuana plants.
Okay.
I knew my parents smoked weed. I knew, huh? I knew, when they smoked it, they didn't smoke it in front of us, but when I first smelled marijuana, I was like, that's different. My mom smoked cigarettes. It didn't smell like a cigarette. And
Right.
so, how, so then they would have like, backyard barbecues on occasion and stuff. And then the next day we would have to clean up me and my sister would have to clean up all the beer cans and stuff like that. But again, it was like, I didn't really think anything of it. So, I just remember saying to myself, I'm not going to smoke cigarettes. I'm not going to drink beer. I'm not going to smoke marijuana. But a few short years later, I found myself doing it. And believe it or not, and now, mind you, because my parents grew the marijuana, they always had marijuana, like, the C's candy boxes. They always had, like, I would see around the house a C's candy box, and I would open up the lid and see the weed. I didn't think anything of it. It's like, I'm a kid. This is an adult thing. I don't know anything about it. That's them. But so weed was always around the house. Now, I don't remember them ever smoking it, like me sitting on the couch and them sitting on the couch and them smoking it right next to me, of course, but it was just there. Um, and so I had a best friend that lived up the street, and she was 2 years younger than me. And then obviously she was a little bit faster than me because she's the one that said, you know, Halati's, like I went to her house one day and she was smoking her older sister's cigarette butts. And she asked me if I wanted to try one. And I said, yeah. I mean, it was like I didn't even think anything about it. You know, like what I said, never gonna do that, didn't cross my mind. So, you
Wow.
know, I coughed a few times, and then, next thing you know, stealing cigarettes from my mother out of her cigarette pack, and smoking in the bathroom, and I was addicted. And so then the same best friend said, "Hey, why don't you get some of your parents' weed and let's smoke it?" And
Mm-hmm.
there again, I was like, "Huh, okay," because it was nothing to get it, and because they used to have the grocery brown paper bags. They would
Mm-hmm.
have brown paper bags full of this stuff, so they wouldn't notice if I took a couple of pinches from it. So they always had zigzags in that See's candy box. So I took the zigzags and the weed and rolled up as best I could. And I remember the first couple of puffs, it was like I was laughing, just so giggly. I felt good. I was high. To me, it was a good high. And so now I got the cigarettes and I got the weed going together, and I'm doing it every day. Um, my parents were they smoked sherm, so and that stuff smelled bad. Oh my god, that stuff smelled bad. And I was a little about it. Like I wouldn't let any friends, other than my best friend up the street come over. Oh no, because I never knew when my mom would be passed out drunk, or if that smell from the sherm would be around. And my parent, like, I don't know if so a lot of people would really trip off of sherm, like running down the street naked and all this kind of stuff. But my dad didn't do that. I always knew when my dad had been smoking weed, when he would just sit down and he'd have a big old smile on his face and his eyes would be glossy. So he had a really strong mental constitution. I don't remember my seeing my mom shermed out, even though I'm sure she did it. But and
Yes,
then
ma'am.
after that sherm situation, then they started doing crack, both of
Mm-hmm.
them, and that was the downfall. Now, again, I'm like, oh no, I'm not gonna smoke crack. Oh heck no. So I always worked. Um, like I had my first major job working at Bank of America. I think maybe when I was, I don't know, 19, 20, somewhere there. And so when I got that job, I moved out. I said, I'm leaving this chaos. I'm leaving, and so I got my own place. And my father was very physically abusive to my mother. Like he was 6'5", she was 5'4", and just about every 6 months
Mm-hmm.
for no reason, no good reason I know of, because my mom was a sweetheart. She did what she did. She got he was a bully because he got high too. So why upset because she's getting high? But anyway, that's why I said I think he's just a bully, or he was, because they're both
Mm-hmm.
deceased. So yeah, that wanted to add that in, that I had to experience. I mean, when I say he beat her.
Wow.
Like one time her mouth she had to go to the hospital and get her mouth wired. He
Jesus.
beat her to where her face one time, and I'm still mad and upset about it. Because again, I was just a little
You
girl,
breaking
and
up a
I'm
little bit.
hearing up in their bedroom, and I'm hiding under my bed. That's, besides being able to play outside and all that, and living in
Highly favored. I can't hear you. Q. Christine. Oh Lord. What happened? Hey, highly favored. I'm gonna remove you from this one.
I don't
Okay, I can hear you.
know
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
what happened.
I don't know what happened, but you back. Yes, back. You was breaking up.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear her now.
Oh,
Okay. You
And
was
your
breaking up
camera's
with
on too if you didn't want your camera
yeah.
I
on. I
can
didn't,
hear
Cut
you.
your camera off, Miss Highly favored.
Okay. Okay.
so we won't see your good old lingerie. Okay.
Okay.
it's
Okay.
it's back on
Can you hear
again.
me okay?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you. Okay, just turn your camera off.
Oh, I
Hold
just
on. There you go. Okay, there you go. We can hear you. Just come a little bit closer.
hello.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you. I can hear you, Miss Highly
Okay.
Favorite.
All right. So I move out the house,
Okay.
and um I left out the house so they have to, dark, and time to go. I didn't want to see that kind of life anymore back in time. So what ends up happening, um comes and stays with me at my apartment, and
Mhm.
my dad followed her. So I kept moving apartment to apartment every time my dad would come, you
Mhm.
know. And so how I started smoking crack is I had a cousin. Her
Mhm.
homeless, moving from apartment to apartment, trying to leave my dad. And so her boyfriend was selling it and she was smoking it. And just one day I asked her for some. And at first, the first hit I didn't feel anything. And so we went and got some more, and the second time, that's when I felt it, and that's when I was hooked. Um,
What kind of feeling is it,
and it was just I lost.
ma'am?
Huh?
I said, what kind of
I didn't hear
feeling?
you.
I said, what kind of feeling was it like that came over you when you actually felt it? Was what kind of feeling? Was it a numbing feeling? Was it a? How can you express how you felt when you hit the pipe?
It's like a rush.
Okay. Okay.
It's
What?
like a rush
Mm-hmm.
mixed with kind of like a marijuana high. If any of you guys ever smoke marijuana, it's like marijuana, but with the rush. So I didn't like the rush feeling so much. So I would always drink with it.
Mm, okay.
Yeah,
So
I never smoke crack without drinking. And when I say
okay.
drinking, like I drunk a lot with it.
Wow. So look. So how long were
Yeah,
you? How long did
people could
you
smoke
continue to do it?
everybody different.
Yes, ma'am. So continue on with your story. Highly favored. Can you hear me?
And the connect, I can hear you.
Okay,
How
go ahead.
what? I addicted?
No, continue on with your story. I'm sorry.
I can't hear you. I can't understand what you're. Yeah, it's just cutting in and out.
I said continue on with your story.
Oh no, that's okay.
Okay.
Uh, let's see. I've been raped. Oh no, I lost track on how many times I've been raped. I'd say maybe 4 or 5 times, and it was
Sorry to
all
hear
due
that.
to drugs. I've had a gun pulled to my head. Um, the only place I've lived is in California, so um, um, yeah. When I had the gun pulled to my head, I was living in the Crenshaw area in San Antonio. You guys are aware of that? That's where Nipsey Hussle had his business,
Hmm.
and yeah, it was very humiliated. I was one of those that got high off of crack and got stuck.
So how long were you addicted?
It's not funny, but so I got kicked out of crack
You got
houses,
kicked. Uh huh.
that kind of situation. I've been homeless. Listen to me. I've been barefoot, pregnant, and homeless. And I have 2 nickels to rub together. Mm-hmm. Yes. I slept in. It was rough. And I think so I've hit a lot of rock bottom. So you hear some drugs, well, what made me stop was rock bottom. No, 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 no. That might have been for them, but for me, I hit a lot of rock bottoms. And I'm a chronic relapser. I consider myself a chronic relapser. Like some people you hear, they say, "Oh, I've been clean 20 years. I've been clean 30 years. I've been clean 40 years." Well, my journey is not hasn't been like that. I hope to get time like that. But what got me what started turning me around, honestly, ladies, is that I like to keep my clothes clean. I like my environment to be clean. I don't like feel degraded or be humiliated, because for me that's what smoking crack was like. Every place I smoked crack, because I never wanted to smoke crack at home. I always had to be at somebody else's house. Now imagine you're in somebody's house and they tell you to get out, and you can't get out. That's that kind of humiliation. Yeah, so
Wow.
yeah. I turned a trick for $2. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. This is
Oh, I'm
real. A lot
not.
of people won't tell you this. Now everybody's got stories. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
ma'am.
But it's me that are going to tell you that they turned a trick for $2 because it's like, and I've never. I don't want to say that. Let me see. I was when I was growing up. I tried to save my virginity until I got married. So turning a trick for $2 is doesn't add up with my character.
Hmm.
It wasn't me, it was the drug. And I lost my
Right.
virginity at 17 by accident. Now you tell me, well, how did you lose your virginity by accident? Because we were grinding on the he slipped my panties to the side and put it in. That's how. Dude, I was grown. Like, yeah, okay. It was not consensual. He didn't ask me, can he pin? You know? So I don't know how I got on that subject, but I'm just trying to keep it as real as I can. Oh, because I told you about the $2 trick. And the boy said, the
Yeah.
man, whatever he was, he said, well, this is all I got at 3 o'clock in the morning.
He
I'm
only
like,
had
well,
$2.
at least it'll get me a beer, you know. So yeah, that's the end of my story right there. Hmm.
Well, can I ask you this?
So I
Like you
still have
said,
a lot of guilt.
okay. What do you feel guilty for?
I don't understand.
I said, what do
I
you
feel guilty
feel
because I
guilty
knew
for?
better.
But it wasn't you, it was the addiction.
Because I knew better. Now, I've heard you say, don't feel guilty, but I don't go for that. When you know better, you do better. I realize that we're all human, but we all, I'm going to assume we all think that we're special in some kind of way. And I
Mm.
considered myself special in that way. I don't have smarts, but I, consider myself having common sense. And that just did not make any sense when I saw my parents' downfall. And then, I go and do the same thing. Okay, it is what it is. I'm working on healing myself from that, but it's very hard because I knew better. And it's just really, really hard. And now, like, I'm 58 and I sometimes think about, you know, where I would have been, who I would have been if I hadn't. But straight to the point, like, I'm 58 and if I hadn't have done that, I think I would have owned a home. You know what I'm saying? I right I've been renting a home for the last 18 years. I should have the money to pay. My house should have been paid for in full by now. So, and then not to even mention everything that I put my daughter through. My daughter was basically raised by my sister, and me and my sister, I mean, for some reason, she's kind of got some of that. How can I say this in a nice way? She's has some characteristics of her father because I found out after both of them passed that he's not my biological father. So she has some of his bullyish ways, but she still found it in her heart to take care of my daughter, off and on, until my daughter was in what high school. So my sister basically raised my only child. This is my only child. Now, I didn't have my daughter until I was 30. So I'm like, okay, I had a good job working for LA County, and I'm like, okay, I know I can take care of her financially. And I thought I was ready,
Mhm.
but I wasn't. Um, so I got high a lot, um, for emotional reasons, loss of relationships, loss of loss of family, and then the other part was just because I wanted to get high.
Understand.
I enjoy getting high. If I can get high, I would. That's real talk. If I could drink, if I could smoke weed, if I could smoke crack today, music. That was my thing. Music and getting high. And it was like getting high was my best friend. I'm an introvert. I'm not really social like that. Um, and I just stayed to myself and got high. But I can't do that. So I'm a all or nothing type person. So I can't, if I had a drink and smoke weed, then and I say something happened, I got really upset or something like that, I would end up smoking crack. And like Frankie's passing today, Keisha's mom, has
Mhm.
affected me all day.
Yes, ma'am. But if you continue on with your sobriety, you won the fight. Miss Holly Favorite, you still there?
Distinct faces. I'm like, oh, that's Frankie. I said, hey, Frankie, how you doing? We were just like I said, downtown. I mean, lots of people downtown, right? I was walking on
Oh,
one direction on the sidewalk, and she was walking in the opposite direction, and we were just facing each other. And her energy was just like how you see on TV. I mean, she
mhm.
was just lively, and she just seemed so happy. I mean, and she was with a man, and so I don't know if it was her boyfriend or what, but he had to been a good friend to be with her. And so it was just that brief second, those brief seconds of, you know, seeing her. And I'll always cherish that. But yeah, her passing today has affected me because I can relate. And when I heard that, she lived in Oakland, that's where she passed away, I'm like, oh my gosh. Because, like, again, I was born, she was 61, I'm 58. So we were both like in the mix, kind of like at the beginning of the crack era. And when I say it was wild, it was like wow, just seeing hubs of black people, either selling it or strung out on crack. If you go, because again, I live in Sacramento County, so but if you go to San Francisco right now, um, you'll still see like hubs of black people who are older, like my age and older, just on the curb, putting the pipe to their mouth, and I'm like, wow. Um, but no, I could totally relate to Frankie because it's not. I don't think it wasn't that she didn't care. Crack is a very much mental and physical drug. Like it's intrusive. Like it just like you could say, okay, well, I'm not gonna smoke any more crack, and then you know, uh, the next day or so, it pops in your head, grips you. Like once you get to thought, it's like people relapse mentally before they actual pick up on drugs. the drug. And then the physical of it is, um, you get, how can I say this nicely, but you get like cramps in your stomach. Like that's how it was for me. Like if I knew I was going to go and get some, or I had some, I just, pick some up. You know, it's like how you feel when you have a getting ready to have a bowel movement.
Hmm.
That's the way crack makes a lot of people feel. So it's kind of like heroin was like physical, I know, because it made people have withdrawals,
Hmm.
painful withdrawals. Every drug you will have a withdrawal from, even if it's a cigarette or alcohol, whatever. But heroin gives you a painful withdrawal. But yeah, so crack is like, for me, I feel once you're addicted, you're always addicted. And a lot of people who who have a lot of years of sobriety, they'll disagree with me on that.
Hmm.
But the reason I say that once you smoke crack, once an addict, always an addict, is because it is so mental and physical. And some people choose not to fight it because it is a lifelong fight. Like right now, um, in my mind, I don't, I hope I never relapse again because I know what it'll be like, or I could be like Frankie and just die. And, or I could get killed. Whenever I relapse, or whenever, I'd hate to speak that into existence, but whenever a person relapses, they lose something, or they stand a huge chance on losing something, if that makes sense. It could be a job, it could be a leg, it could be like I had $6,000 hidden in my house once. I lost that. I mean, it could literally be anything. It could be your child. It could be. It's like that there's going to be consequences, but the pull is so hard that you do it anyway. You do it anyway. So that's what it's been like for me, growing up being addicted. Like today, I honestly cannot say that I can stay clean for the rest of my life because I know I can't. I just can't. And I feel bad about that because my daughter, who's 28 years old now, um, you know, it would hurt her. It hurts her every time that I relapse. But I'm sick. See, I tell it like it is. It's a sickness. When they say it's a disease, is a sickness. It's a sickness. And it is not a good thing. It's like being possessed, if that makes you guys understand it more. And a lot of people think that you know that it was put into our communities purposely,
Hmm.
and if that's the case, um, that's a horrible thing because it has taken out many, all races of people, but black people from all walks of life. No matter how rich you are, no matter this, no matter that, anyone that smokes crack, if they haven't been blessed to get clean and sober, it'll take you out. Look at Frankie. When I tell you her passing has just shifted my whole day. It's like I'm gonna have to meditate on it and pray on it. But she told her daughter, she was like, hey, if something happens to me, just go on, live your life,
Hmm.
but it's easier to say than done, to a child that loves you. Because I know Keisha loved all her children, love her dearly. She was like, She was like the pillar of the family in spite of whatever. Like my mom, let me tell you something. I don't care what my mother did, drugs, whatever. There is nothing in my eyes that she can do to me that can make me not love my mama. Oh yeah, I'm that one. I don't my to me my mom could do no wrong. I believe in live and let live. So I don't put my mother down for doing
Mhm.
drugs. I don't. That's just the connection I have with my mother though. I know it's not for everybody. Cause I know life. I know how drugs do people. It is an addiction. So, the best high is a natural high. That's I've been blessed to experience that and know that. Like I'm on a natural high. When I tell you it is the best. But now weed and stuff, like I can get it's like that feels good too. I smoked weed morning, noon, and night. I mean for real. Like at my on my job, when everybody's
Mhm.
going to lunch and eating with each other, shoot, I would go take my little joint. That's what we called them back in the day. My little joint and go and take a walk somewhere. And no one I smelled like weed coming back, but I tried to wash my hands, wash my face, put some perfume on. Um, I remember in high school one time this little girl, she said, "Ah, I smell that smell again." Because at lunchtime, that's what I was doing. I didn't have any friends in high school. If they didn't smoke weed, I didn't hang around them. They weren't no friend of mine. They were no use to me. If they knew where to get some weed, we friends. So, but yeah, so most of my life, imagine, so from 14 when I first started smoking cigarettes, because that is a drug. A cigarette is a drug. I would say, yeah, so more than half of my life. And even now, I'm addicted to cigarettes. I had quit for 8 years, and I did like Frankie. I said, well, when I wanna smoke a cigarette for my 50th birthday, and Lord, today.
Mhm.
Because you think, oh well, I can do it. I know I can smoke one cigarette and be okay. And that's the way drugs are. You think that you're stronger than the drug, and you're not. So
Mhm.
that's my story, y'all.
Well, highly favored. I just have one question. Or how was you really
Hmm.
like your relationship with your daughter? Are you and your daughter was it strained at one time, or did you guys just no matter what it was never strained, or you and her in a good place? Christine and Q, do you guys have any questions?
I don't. I was listening intently, so it was intense. It was an intense
Yeah, I don't
listen.
have. Go ahead, Christy. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's cute. I'm just.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Q, because I can talk later.
Okay, her mic is on mute, but I was just going to say that I didn't have any questions per se for her to answer at this time. I just wanted to say thank you for sharing your story. I'm hoping that you do have many more years of sobriety and that you inspire somebody to know that, they can too be sober and have that experience. And I guess what I would want to say is to think about offline is. Um, maybe some type of way that you can forgive yourself for maybe not knowing better, because I hear a lot of what you say where you say you know you knew better, but then I also hear you speak a lot about what you grew up with and was surrounded by. And I think sometimes if we list out all of the things that we were not taught, would see that sometimes we just didn't know as much as we thought we knew, even with all of the information surrounding us. It could have been something missing that we should have been given that could have helped us more, and forgive ourselves and those who failed us that we didn't know those things, and try to heal from that place. But that's just a thought. I'm not an expert, I'm not a professional, nor do I mean to discredit your testimony. I just pray that your success continues and that you think of ways that maybe you can get to a point where you're not carrying the guilt, because I know that can be heavy.
Yeah. I concur with Q.
Okay.
That is heavy. That's heavy for me. So
Yeah, yeah. Highly favored. If you are listening, I do want to say she got off the live, but I do want to say, like you, I agree with you. Um, forgive yourself and move forward. I hope and pray that you continue to be sober. You don't have to turn to that. You just know that you are. I feel like this. You have to have that in your mind that you are better than your addiction. And so, with that being said, because I'm heavy hearted, and so I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you, Q. Thank you, Christine, and God and flavored. I just want to heavenly flavored. I want to say
highly
thank
flavored.
highly flavored. I'm sorry, highly flavored. We really, really, really want to appreciate you for coming on here, telling your story. God bless you. We will continue to keep you in prayer. And if you guys can do anything, if highly flavored, are you a content creator? If you guys want to go over there and subscribe to her channel, please go subscribe to her and give her much support and love as possible. I wish I had a link. I would just drop a link in the chat. My phone did. So, everyone, y'all have a good night. Thank you, Q. Thank you, Christine, for coming up here. And guys, y'all have a good night. I'll try to be live tomorrow. If I don't be live tomorrow, I know I'll come Wednesday. So have a good night, each and every one of you guys.
Bye, everybody. Oh, and go check out Q's last video
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, please check out In Q's World. I'm so sorry. Please make sure you check out In Q's
Yeah,
World.
she did.
Make
I
sure you
think she did one
subscribe
today.
to Q.
So yeah,
I
go
want to
check
give
that
Q
out.
support because Q is good people. So make sure you guys check out In Q's World. Make sure if you can drop Q link, drop Q link, and that's it. Thank you guys so much for coming. We had a great conversation tonight. We need to do this more often. And y'all, make sure you go subscribe to Highly Favored and EQ's World, and Christine in Real Life, and King Cream, and
Yeah, I
anyone.
don't post no videos. Don't come over here. No. I'm
But
just trying.
make sure you check out King's Chris World as well. That is all my news and views members. Please go check them out and subscribe to them. They're all good people that I support. So good night, everyone. I love each and every one of you guys, and I'll see you guys Tuesday or Wednesday. Good night.
All right. Good night.